inform everybody. Just a few words about the Service Design Marathon. This is the initiative of Service Design Network Ukrainian chapter, but it's also greatly supported by the Service Design Network headquarters. We are doing it because we believe that service design cases is a great way to learn more about the service design and learn tools in practice. And this marathon is organized by Katerina Zayko, who is a co-founder of Service Design Network chapter from Ukraine, and me, Oleg Kos. We are from Ukraine, and we are welcome Angélica Flechas, who is a service designer and a lawyer from Colombia, as you already know. And well, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Well, hello everybody. I am super happy to be here. And I'm going to talk about this beautiful topic that I love. And it's about legal service design, which is a legal and a holistic approach. And let's begin with my topic. So first things first, I don't know if everybody is from Ukraine, but Oleg told me that this is the chapter, the service design chapter from Ukraine. So I have the terms and conditions from Zoom in Ukrainian, so please all read it. I have some else content, so if you all have and accept those contents, please accept it in the chat. So please, can you say yes in the chat? Because if you don't say yes, I cannot continue. So please say yes in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. With 2 more people, I can continue. Thank you very much. I just want to know if you all read it. Did you read it? I know it's in Ukrainian, but I don't care. Did you read it? Come on, why? So easy to read it. 2 words. Of course, no. Sash. Okay. If you read it, you must be a relative of this guy. I know you, if you know this guy. You remember him? He was super fast. And if you read them, you are like him. But the real thing is this one. And sometimes when you are beginning with an experience, with any kind of experience right now, we sometimes go with this one. And with the legal experience. And with terms and conditions of this one. And maybe you are beginning with this, and you like it or not, you have to say yes to continue. And Max says, it was worth reading. And I like your question, because sometimes it doesn't. And you just have to say yes to continue. And you go to Facebook and you say yes, and just because you want to have the app, and you say yes just because you want to. So this is the real first thing, which is hola or hello, and is the way that I want to apologize. Sorry to begin with that. But I just want to make a point with this. And this is me. I'm Angélica Flechas. I am Colombian. I'm a lawyer. I'm a designer. I am a founder of a company. I am a mother of dogs because I have 2 dogs, those 2 beautiful dogs. They are Botas and Lorenzo. If you want to follow them in Instagram, they are beautiful. Please do it. And this is my company, Háptica. If you want to follow it, you can do it too in Instagram, Háptica Design. So my story begins in law school. I went to law school because my parents both are lawyers. And I went to a Catholic school, actually, after going to the university. And those nuns were bad nuns. When some kids didn't have enough money to pay for the school, they did something really bad. They put the names of those girls and put the list of those girls on the door to all the teachers know that they were the ones that didn't have the money to pay. So I was this kind of kid that took the list away and ran away. So they called my parents and tell my parents, hey, your kid, she's a trouble one, come here. So my mother was super upset about it. Like, come on, Angelica, I don't have time for this. She was a lawyer. And my father, also a lawyer, was super happy about it. He was like, oh my God, this is my kid. She is a potential lawyer, so I'm going to go with her at the school. And he was taking a constitutional document that has like all the foundational rights, like the constitutional rights, to support me with my actions. So I always felt a lawyer, even though I was a kid at school. And when I finished when I finished my school, I went to university and I decided to become a lawyer. They didn't tell me that I have to, I just wanted to. And I was super intense. You know, this student that always read and wants to be the Hermione of the classroom. That was me. I loved it. One of the contents that I really liked was this one that says that law should be like death, which spares no one. And that's the sentence of Montesquieu. And I want to ask you, do you think this is true? Do you think that law is everywhere? Do you think that everything is touched by law right now? Like when you're sitting, do you think it is like that? So please, I'm like a YouTuber, you have to answer me in the chat. Yes or not? Law is everywhere? Do you think so or not? People try to escape it, but it is everywhere, right? Maybe yes. Everything is subjective. Okay. No. Some people says no. Okay. Should be, but it's not. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. I'm going to show you some examples. So for example, when you turn off on the lights, there's law because there's a contract behind of it, a service contract. And even though you are not aware of that, there is something legal behind of that. Or for example, when you are taking the bus or taking a cab, there is a transportation contract beginning. Even though you are not saying, hey, mister, can we begin with this contract, this transportation contract? Let's begin with that. Do you agree? I agree. Let's do it. Even though we don't say those words, all the negotiation and all the behave behind of that is a transportation contract. So even though we are not lawyers, we are part of transportation contracts every time we take the bus. Did you know that? Were you aware of that? Yes or no? There you go. And this one, friends. When you're in love and want to get married, and you tell your girl or your boy, hey, do you want to marry me? Friends, that's legal. There is something legal going on there. And maybe a prenup is coming because maybe you want to do something with your houses and stuff and you don't want to mix it up with the houses and stuff that's somebody else's. So that's legal stuff too. So maybe Montesquieu is right. And maybe everything is touched by law. But let's stop a little bit about law and legal stuff. And let's talk a little bit about design. So when I was almost finishing legal and law school, I took a class in legal school. And the teacher said, I want you to take this class in a better way. I want you to enjoy the class. And I have an idea. And the idea is for you to design a game to learn this new law. And everybody in my class was like, why are you doing this? Why don't we just take a quiz and that's it? But I was just thrilled about this. I was super happy. So I just went home. I opened a closet when we had all these games. And I found the game Clue. I don't know if you all know the game. The name is about finding the murderer. So I said, in this game, you have to find the murderer. In my game, we have to find the corrupt, who is not applying the law. So I designed this huge game with little toys, and I went to a store and I bought all the paper and stuff that I found. I didn't sleep for all the weekend. I came to the class with this huge thing, and all my colleagues had just little papers. And the game that they had in mind was how to be a billionaire, you know, with questions and answers with multiple choices. Those were their games. Mine was huge with dates, and we have to find the corrupt, and at the end we have to scream corrupt. It was just crazy. I was super proud about my game. And the teacher said, Angélica, can I ask you 2 questions? And I said, yes, please. The first one was, can I take corrupt to my house? I want my kids to play it. That was weird, but I said yes. So I gave them my game. And the second question was, when are you going to tell your parents that you want to be a designer? And that day changed the track of my life. So I went home. I talked to my parents. I told them I want to be a designer. And they said, my father said no. My mom said, yes, you can do it. I want to help you, but you have to finish law school. After that, my father said, okay, but you have to do a postgraduate program in something legal stuff. So I did it. And that's how I became a lawyer and a designer. And I was the first person to do both programs at the university. So when I finished both, I did the traditional design program, which was industrial design. I did strategic design, and that was awesome. That was luck. I didn't know that I was going through that program. Just when I was like in second semester, I realized that I was doing this amazing thing, and I realized that it was about design thinking and service design and all this. So when I finished design, I was looking for a job. And I don't know if for you it was super easy to find a job when you finish, but for me it was tough. Like there weren't like signs that were looking for a service designer all around Colombia. So I decided to create my own company, and this is my company. The name is Háptica. It's the first service design company in Colombia and one of the first in Latin America. And what we do is we understand services as stories that come to life thanks to the touch points that we designed. That's what we do. And let's take a look to this example. So we have all the journey of an experience. For example, going to a hotel. This journey has different moments on the experience, and these are all the touch points that make this journey come to life. And this is the emotions that the person or the user can feel in every single moment of the experience. So this is just a regular journey. But I want to ask you this. How many of these touch points are legal touch points? Have you ever think about if every single moment of the experience has legal touch points? And remember Montesquieu. So do you think that in a service you can find more than 1, 2, how many? How many do you think? How many legal touch points do you find in a regular service of a hotel? More than 3, 5, 10? You say 50%? Okay. Who else? A 100%, said Katerina. Many. Amazing. Okay, I just did the exercise here. And I'm sure that if I do it like really hard and really trying to do it, all the blanks could be filled. And you can find the payment method has a legal perspective, the cancellation policy, the transportation contract, the intellectual property, accommodation contract, like all these are, what picture? This one? So at the end, all the journey can have different touch points that are legal touch points. And if I ask you, for example, if I took just the booking agreement, this is a legal touch point because this is like a proof that you have the right to stay at the hotel. So this is a legal touch point. Is this a touch point that you really like? This is something that you say, oh my God, I love it. Like, I just want to keep it, and thank God this exists, and I want to keep it with me for the rest of my life. Do you love it? Yes or no? No. So I want to ask you this. Are these touch points designable? Do you think that legal touch points are designable? Yes or no? Yes, sure, yeah. Yes, 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 yes. Of course they are. And this is how we do it, with legal service design. The holistic view that connects the legal touch points with the legal user, with the final user. So this is amazing, and that's how we do it. And I'm going to show you some projects. I'm going to show you a little bit of method. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the principles. So the first principle is win-win. So every time that I'm going to design a legal experience or a legal touch point, I have to think about that all the stakeholders that are going to be affected by this touch point have to win with the touch point. So for example, if I'm working with a hotel, I have to think about the hotel and the guest. Both of them are important for me. So if I'm designing this booking agreement, it's important for me that the hotel is covered, but also the user. So the win-win is important for me. But also it's important for me the transparency. So it doesn't matter that the content is good enough for both if they don't understand it. So I need to design the way that it looks and the way that it communicates the content, because if the language is too complex, it doesn't matter if you can win, like if it's balanced, the content, because if you don't get it, it's like it's not there anymore. And the final principle is the applicability, which means that every single project with legal design has a legal framework. I have to get it. And in this part, my friends, I have to tell you this. Every single project of legal design, for example, from my perspective, has to get involved a lawyer, because you need to understand the legal implication of that touch point. And if you are designing something and you take away some legal component that is going to affect its legal approach, you can change it and you can affect his provement or his legal efficacy. So it is important to include a lawyer and to have all the legal framework in your project. So these are the 3 principles for legal design that I work with. So let's present you some of the projects with my showtime.
Angelica?
Yeah?
Maybe there is a question from the audience right now before we jump into the cases.
Okay. Is there any question right now?
Okay.
Okay. So let's continue. Okay. If I understood right, your service design company became the first in Colombia. Where have you found your clients? Did you use your legal experience to attract your clients? No. My first client was thanks to my university, because one of my teachers was really close to a pharmaceutical company. They were looking for somebody who can help them to design the experience of medical experience, and she couldn't do it because she has a conflict of interest. So she said, I cannot, but I have a student who can do it. And then I appeared. So that was my first client, and then another one appeared, and that's how I had my first client. But like in my third client, I found some legal touch points during the experience, and then it's how I connected the two dots. My two brains said, oh my God, this could happen. And that's how I used legal design with service design, and I create legal service design as an approach. Is legal service design actually a recognized field, or is this niche you found based on your experience as a lawyer? There is a field which is legal design. There is a field which is service design. The niche of legal service design is from Háptica. We found it. Okay, so now I'm going to. So let's go with the first project. A bank who wanted to improve its legal services. How redesign the stock commission contract experience? So this sounds like blah, 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 blah. So let's understand the contract. So this is simple. Imagine that there is like a millionaire who has $1 million in a bank. So he says, I want to invest my money, but I don't know how. So you have to have all this money. If you don't have this money, you cannot be part of this contract. So this guy is a millionaire, has all this money, gives the money to a bank, but it has also to give an instruction, like a specific instructions to the bank. For example, you have all my money, but also I just want you to invest the money in projects related to sustainability and animals approach. So that's the instructions. After that, the bank creates a portfolio and says, I'm going to invest in this, in this, and in this. And after that, the bank begins to invest the money. That's how the stock commission contracts function. So that's easy, but the name is so blah, 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 blah. I know. So what we did was like a service design project. We did all the research. We went to talk with all the product owners. So the guys who were the leaders of the product at the bank. We talked with the users. We talked with the commercial, like with all the sales force, because they were the guys who were selling the products. So we found some interesting stuff. For example, there were 4 moments at the experience. These are the emotions. So this is a happy face, a middle face, a sad face. So as you see, the saddest moment is the third one, which is when is the contractual discussion. Oh, is this a surprise? Of course not. Why is so sad the moment where the lawyers appear? Why do you think that the moment where the lawyers and the contracts appear is the most sad part of the experience? Why do you think that happened? Please talk to me at the chat, or I will think that I'm talking by myself. And there is 38 people in the chat room. Expensive and long. It could be complicated to understand. Great, what else? Boring, of course, long boring read, lots of confusing news. It confused people. Yeah, complicated, exactly. And remember, he's a millionaire. Like, I have all this money, and now I cannot be part of the discussion. It's like, it's my money, but I'm not part of it. Now it's just like a ball between 2 lawyers. So this lawyer from the bank, this lawyer from my part, they're just talking between them. I'm not part of it. So he feels apart. So in this journey, we're just seeing the emotions, and in the part of the little letters are the insights and all the contents that we find that we found in the research part. And what we did was to understand the document itself. So I'm going to show you the document. I want to ask you, is this document something that you say, please give me 2 to take to my vacations? I love it, please. I love it. It's not something that you want to get. but it's something that you need to get. It's like you have to. It's a must, but it's not something that you love. And why the legal stuff couldn't be that? Why cannot be something that you desire? So I want to do that with my legal stuff, you know? I want to make them desire stuff. So in Háptica, we design a digital tool that can diagnose documents and count what happened with the document. So we count sections, pages, characters, words. Actually, it can count how many words and sentences has one paragraph. And if the sentence has or no periods. And if doesn't, it's too dense to read. And also says what is the average time to read. Also, we print the document and we give the document to the user. And we ask him to underline the document with 3 colors. Red is to highlight everything that he doesn't understand. Yellow is to highlight everything that he feels that shouldn't be part of the document. And green is to highlight everything that he loves. Like, thank God this is part of the document. And after having that, we take that to a co-creation session with the Salesforce, the product owner, the user, and the lawyers. And all together, we redesign not only the document, but also what should be the commercial speech that the Salesforce should use to use the document. Because imagine this, the Salesforce are the guys who should use the document and present it to the client, but they don't even understand the document. So we understand that there are like a lot of touch points around the contract. So it's not enough to design the contract. We have to redesign all the rest of the components of the experience. This is why it's not just legal design. It is legal service design. So after all of this co-creation, this is the new document. Ta-da! What do you think? Like it? Not? Works? Thank you. Yeah, it is. But I want to give you a number, which is awesome, and it's this one. This document, the first one, took, before our approach, 3 months to be signed. This document, the new one, now takes 2 days to be signed. So this is moving the business. So this gave me another revelation, which means that legal design can move the business, you know? So there are like another KPIs that are really important here. This is not just about graphic design, because behind these, there are like a lot of lawyers working that we cannot move content that are going to affect the legal power of the document. We're moving the business, we're moving the sales, and that's important here. And the numbers. Remember my tool, my digital tool? So that's important too, to measure. Please guys, measure your touch points. And this is not just about legal design, it's about service design in general. If you're designing a new touch point, you have to measure the touch point. You have to understand how it's affecting the experience. Now the time to read it is less. Same pages, but it doesn't matter because now you can breathe while you're reading the document. Now, do you have any questions about this project in particular? Or do you
Angélica, I have one while people are typing the others. My question is the following. You mentioned that the user of this contract has to be a millionaire.
Yep.
How did you recruit them?
Okay. The bank, they have like really good relation with them. They have been like creating this relation for a lot. And we created like really good sessions with those people. We invite them to a club to have a drink. And during those drinks, we had the sessions. So it was like really interesting sessions with them. Okay, I'm going to read. I like it very much. Nice, good to break it. I actually want to read it. That's amazing and so inspiring. How much time it took to redesign this doc? Like the complete project took 3 months. How did you test new versions? Okay, remember the tool that I taught you about? The tool with the colors. I use the same tool that I used to diagnose the first document to diagnose the second document. And I also use the digital tool, how I showed you before. And I also include another stakeholder because a legal document is not only for the parts. A legal document could be used in court with lawyers, with a judge. So we also include that kind of stakeholders to prototype with them. What will happen if you receive this document as a proof in a litigation? So we needed to also prototype that. What else? Really great job from the output and process. Thank you, Aura. Also, does the legal system accept this document? Yeah, yes. Why? How do I know that? Remember the 3 principles? The third one is applicability. So what I do is always I need to know which is the legal framework of the project. So I always have to take a look of that. I can take away legal components that are essential for the legal perspective. If I do that, I'm going to change the legal naturality of the document or of the business. So that's why it is important to have a lawyer or a lot of lawyers in the project. If this is only done by designers, there is a lot of risk at this. That's why it is important to include lawyers in the project. Normally, the legal part is very structured. How did the bank and its legal area take the new structure? You know what, Maria? Now the lawyers are the rock stars at the bank. They feel free. They feel that now they can design. Right now, actually, I sell them a consultancy project, which was this one. And now I'm teaching them how to do it with the second product that I have, which is Academia Háptica or Háptica Academy, where I teach companies how to do my job. So they have this amazing culture. Of course, this is not for every kind of company. Bank Colombia, which is the bank that I'm working with, is a company that has been working with innovation consultancy for a lot of years. Actually, it's a company that I was dreaming about to work with. And I couldn't do it because another company from, I don't know, Design It, I don't know where it's from, came first to them and it's bigger, so they couldn't, they did it before me. But they did it with the innovation area. But nobody else was doing legal design or legal service design in Colombia. So when they wanted to do something with the legal area, they had to do it with me. So they already had the culture to work that way. So it was easier, but I'm with you. Some of the barriers to do legal service design are the culture, and we have to work a lot with that. But when they feel the first time that they have the skills to do it, that they are part of the co-creation part, that they are part of diagnosed, that they are part of the prototypes, they feel the power to redesign it. It's amazing.
Super. Maybe the last one, which is a good one. Has one of your documents been contested in court yet?
Sorry, can you repeat it?
Yes, has one of your documents been contested in court yet?
No, they haven't. We haven't had that experience. We have prototyped them with court, but not in the real experience court.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to continue with the next case, okay? Is that good for everybody? Okay, this is about quarantine. This is something that is happening to all of us right now. And I don't know how it's working for all of you and how your legal institutions are evolving with the situation. But here in Colombia, what we did is at the beginning, the mayor in Bogotá decided to create like a simulation to see if everybody could stay at home. So she designed, no, she created like a little law to say that you should stay at home. And this was the regulation. So I'm going to show you. So Colombia, Bogotá, imagine this, people receiving this document. Do you think it's something that people will say, oh, I want to read this. Let's read this, how I have to stay at home. Do you think so? People want to read this? No, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. And in Latin America, the way that lawyers, like legislators, people who work, is crazy. Like they work, they write like if they live in the medieval, you know, like in another area, like in another moment in life. It's crazy. So what happened? This, like everybody went out because they didn't read it, they didn't understand it, they didn't care. Of course, that wasn't the only reason. They needed to eat. And here in Colombia, we have like a lot of informal work. So it's not like us, like a lot of us, like we can work from home, we can design services from home. But if you work in informal job and you need to go out and sell your little products, you need to live from the street. But there were like a lot of exceptions, but they weren't clear. So in Háptica, we didn't work with the mayor, like she wasn't our client. I would love to do that, but she wasn't my client. She will be sometime. I hope next time I tell you this. But we said we want to redesign that content to make it clear for everybody. So we did it. So we designed that content. We created 3 categories of the complete document. There were like 15 pages. We created 3 colors to categorize the information. The first one was general information, like everything is with questions. This is in Spanish, but like the structure is, I think, is easy to understand. So this is like a basic information, what it is. So this is a decision made by the mayor in Bogotá to take care of you. Do you think the document says that? The document doesn't say, we want to take care of you, because that's not the way that the lawyers talk. They don't speak that way. But we knew what is the spirit of the document. And in law school, I learned that all laws, all regulations have spirit. What's the spirit behind of the regulation? So we wanted to take out the spirit and make it clear and make them understand why they wanted to create that. We also took away important content, like what were the limits of the regulation, when begins, when finalizes, when. The other component was exceptions, like if you can, you cannot. So the question was, if I need to go out, so what are the cases? So we created the cases, we put some examples. If you are pregnant, if you have a dog, if you have, that wasn't clear of the document either. So we created the exceptions and we organized that content also to make it easier for the user. And penalties. And it's not casual, like it's not casual, the color here. We wanted to make it red because, guys, if you don't go with the law, this is bad. So you have to pay. This is the monetary stuff. And the second one, you could go to jail. And we also include the regulation here. So we designed the content to make it easier to the user. We publish it in different social media, and everybody started like sharing it. Like somebody else shared it with me. Like, did you read this? And I was like, yes, I did it. It was awesome. And now we're doing that with a lot of regulation. Like if something new comes out for talking about jobs and changing the regulation related to your employees, we design it to make it easier for employees. If it says something about new regulation related to food, we design it and make it public to make it easier to the users. We just want to translate the content and democratize the content, because we feel that lawyers, we're not bad, you know? We're just special. Because when we went to law school, we didn't take any service design classes. And we became really good at the content and at the knowledge. But the empathy part is like broken. So we can design that bridge between the legal content and the final user. So what do you think about it? Do you think it's hard to do that? Do you think you could do it? You could make it easier to understand the legal content to the final user? Yes or no? We do it? Okay, great. So you're already doing legal design. Okay, going to continue.
I have a question, Angélica. If there are no other questions here, it's about actually how do you work with the lawyer? Because my experience is that lawyers are very smart, but they are also very selfish and very competitive.
Yeah.
So
true.
They like to compete with each other. How do you make them cooperate instead of competing on your working sessions?
Well, I have worked in different models. Like in my company, we're 3 lawyers. We are 88 people in Háptica. And in the 88, just 3 are lawyers. They merge really well. And we do a really good, I don't know how to say it. It's like a assessment process to really like fish them to know that they could do a really good merge at the company. But when we are working with lawyers as clients, I'm really tough with them. Because when I was beginning at law school, at design school, like everybody at my law school was looking at me like I was crazy. Like, come on, you're a lawyer. Are you going to be a designer? You're like a better person now. You are going to be the worst person. What are you doing? And that for me was awful. And now I feel the best one because I'm a designer, you know? Like, I am playing the other card. I have to show them that design is the best tool ever. And they don't have them. They don't have it, and I do. So that's the tool that I play. And I have KPIs to show it. The KPI with this contract took 3 months before my intervention, and now takes 2 days. For them, is like, I want that. So I use that competition needs and that culture that they have on my behalf to make to work with them. And also I take them to my discovery sessions. So when they talk to the user and they realize that they don't get a word of what they say, they just take their head and say, oh my God, what we are doing. And also what has happened to me is I have worked with some law firms here in Colombia. And I began to work with the first one, and the rest were like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that with them and not with us? So that has helped me, like the competition part. But always working with, I have this tool, you don't have it, you need it. And also look, this user is not understanding anything. And another thing that is interesting is a lot of legal startups are coming up, and they are using a lot of design thinking and service design, and they know it, so they are afraid. They know that it's not good enough to have a lot of knowledge. So this is beginning to change, like the game is changing now, and we have the tool. Design is the tool, so you have to believe that. I hope you know that, guys. I hope you know that you have an amazing tool. You know it, right? You know design is an amazing tool. Like when I was a kid, I'm sure that my parents said, please be a lawyer, please be a doctor, please be an engineer. They don't say, please be a designer, please be a designer. You know what I want for my kids? Please be a designer.
Super.
Okay, but I understand, yes, but how will a reformat document protect a company, a client? This is yet to discover, tested out. Okay, the document is still legal, Katerina. Like, it's the same document, has the same legal approach. And it's not a redesigned document, it's a legal touch point. It has the same weight, legal weight, that the first document protects the same way. You said you have 48 employees. 48, no, 88 of them are lawyers. What other? Okay, we're 48. We're almost all lawyers, sorry, designers. 3 of them are lawyers. Some of them are two degrees. So some of them are designers and business, like administrators. Some of them are architects. Some of them are artists. I have one is a writer, but almost all of them are designers. Okay, the last case, a beer company who wanted to be responsible with the consumption of liquor by minors. So imagine this. There's a company, the biggest one in Colombia, who sells a lot of beer, like a lot. But there is a public entity, the Safety Public Secretary. They needed to work with some really tough KPIs. What was the problem? A lot of kids were drinking beer at the streets. And what brand? This brand. So they called them and said, guys, you need to work with us. We have to work together and design something to work with this. And they found out that even though the beer company was trying to do something, the convenience store, they didn't help a lot at all. Like, they still sell the beer, they still try to keep up with the business. So they called us and said, can you help us with this? So we said, this could be a legal design project. This could be a service design project. This is a legal service design project. Where is this? So we check the law, and this is the law, just one page. And you will say, it's not that hard to understand just to read one page. So this is not just about understanding the law. This is about the cultural stuff. This is about how are the dynamics between the convenience store, the little neighborhood, what are the relationships between the clients, the little store, the cultural beer situation, like I just come by, drink my beer with my friend, but I'm almost 18, but I look 18, but I'm not 18, but you're like my dad because you have seen me growing up since I was a kid. So we saw all of this. So we went to discover all this content. We use this tool, I think you know it, the name is card sorting. How does it work? We just print little cards with different content. In this case, we actually designed like a little game to talk with the owners and the salespersons in the convenience stores. And we wanted to talk to them, not to accuse them, but just to ask them, why do you do that? Why do you sell alcohol to minors? But you cannot go and ask that, because they're going to say, no, I don't. So in my team, there's also not just designers, but also psychologists and anthropologists. And we designed the tool, and we gave them like little cards to play. So we asked them tools like, when somebody comes here and looks 18, do you sell beer? Yes or no? And they have to choose some of the cards and play with the cards. And with all the cards, we were creating the story of the sale. That's how we worked with this tool. And after that, we had some conclusions. And the first conclusion was that we give them alcohol because we are celebrating. So today, Colombia won American Championship of Soccer. So come on, it's just a beer. We're just winning. Today is last day of the year. We're celebrating. It's just a beer. And that sentence, is just a beer, it was part of the card sorting, and they use it a lot. It's just a beer. It's just a beer. We are celebrating. We also gave them a white card, and they could write down some stuff. And they also used a lot this one. We gave them alcohol because they look so much older. Like, oh my God, they look so much older. Like, I thought he was 18, these people 14. It's crazy. So we came up with this little sentence, which is, don't be a bitter drink. And we had some co-creation sessions, and we invite to the sessions kids that were part of the community, actually kids that were their sons, their cousins, people that lived at the neighborhood, and they were watching all day, going to the schools, coming back, like we're part of the community, and people from the store, and people from the company, and people from the public entity, like everybody worked together, like co-creating the new campaign and the new service that we wanted to co-create and redesign. And we came up, with this strategy, which was this one, that even though we're celebrating, we cannot sell alcohol to minors. Even though he looks so much older, we cannot sell to minors. And we include some of the regulation here and what is the fee that they have to pay, because we want them to remind it, like, I have to pay this. And actually, this is not just our imagination, like they design it, like the sales force from the stores, they design it. They design these little flyers and stuff. They did it. So we just use our design tool to do it better, but this all came from their heads. We also create some touch points. Like, this is Bogotá. This is a regular neighborhood from our country. What you see here, these little boxes, are part of a regular store. This is a bicycle that they use to take to do the takeaways, to take the products that they're taking to the houses. And we create this tote bag with the message, because we want them to be like the image of the campaign, of all the experience for every single moment of the journey. We also create these 2 touch points. Yes, the posters were provided by the company. We also include this sticker with this little component at the top of the store. And something really interesting happened. Like, one store put it, and the other stores began to say, I want it, because they didn't want to feel that they weren't part of it. That they weren't feel like FOMO, fear of missing out. Like I wanted to, because I don't sell to minors either. So it started to happen like a little virus at the neighborhood that were part of the prototype. So that was interesting. And we also did this, which was interesting, because they had like little groups of all the people in WhatsApp. So we created these stickers. So what happened when you discovered that they don't have ID? So we did this one with the dog. This is El Chavo el Ocho, which is a program from Mexico that was super, super common in Colombia. And so, when you see the salesman selling alcohol to minors, when you see somebody drinking with a minor, when you see a salesman that is not selling to a minor, so you send him hearts. And we designed all this to see if they share it. And people from the beer company were part of their groups, and we start seeing them sharing the stickers. So that was part of the prototype. And they actually start creating their own stickers. That was super interesting too. So it began as a project of service design, I think, but it had an aspect of legal design because there is a regulation that said that you cannot do that. And right now, there is a huge measure project going on to see how this is affecting. Right now, the virus is affecting our project, the measurement, but still is running. And we are super happy about it because we know that the numbers are good for the project. Like are going down, like minors are drinking less. So this is it. This is the final project. And I just want to finish with this sentence, which is, the law says what should happen, but does not say how. And this is the power that service design has. And maybe every lawyer could say a thing. Yes, we're measuring right now. We're measuring. But you, designer, can change the world because we have the tools to do it. So let's do it. Let's change the world. How we're doing it? We create, we took some stores where we are not applying the strategy, and we took other stores where we are applying the strategy. But they are similar, with the same number of community, with the same number of minors, with the same number of problems of drinking with minors that are drinking. And we have a university right now that is running the measurement. So that's how we're doing it. Okay, very insightful presentation. Thank you, Angélica. From business perspective, curious to how did you get some of your first clients, and what did your vision for the future of Háptica? More focus on specialization or some diversification? Okay, how I told you, I had my first client because I had a really strong connection with my university. So my teacher found me my first client, like a reference to my first client. And if you do a good job with your first client, that client is going to talk about you with another client. And that happened to us. And of course, if I go back and I see the first project that I did, my God, I could do it so much better right now, you know? But I think that was it. Like, the power of networking is amazing. If you're still studying, like if some of you are students, please be good with your teachers. You don't know who are you studying with. For me, that was the breaking point. Like, my two biggest clients at the beginning came because of my teachers, because they saw me as a good student. Then I created Háptica, and they saw me as a serious service designer, and they saw that I could do some good with those clients. And now they are like my, I don't know how to say this, like they're part of my board, those teachers. Another thing that is really important is create a good team. actually, like on Friday, I think, I was talking to one of those teachers, and he told me, right now is when you see what is the team that you have. And that's true. Like, in these times is when you see that you have the team that you need, that is working from their homes with this situation, having some budget cuts and still doing their best. So don't think that the first thing is only thinking about the product or the services that you are going to deliver. Don't think that the most important thing is your clients. Think about also your team. What are you doing to design the experience for your team? I did that, but not at the beginning, and I had a lot of problems with that. And now I just create a culture. We call ourselves Háptiqueños. I just love them. And we have done something really cool with Háptica. I hope we can keep doing it, even though the situation. And even though you're a team of 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, keep together, work with them, work for them, and work as a team. And I don't like specialization. I think I like to work with different kind of industries. I have worked a lot with health, finance, retail, hotels, restaurants, education. Right now I'm doing an amazing project in Mexico with a university. We are redesigning their program of design using future design tools to redesign the future of the program. Because I think that design should be a lot more futuristic and prospective. So we're redesigning their program. So I just like to work with a lot of industries to learn from one of them and take that knowledge to the other. So I don't work with just one industry. So the plan is keep working with service design, keep working with legal design, and start working with future design. Thank you. Did you think how to scale your approach? For example, you come to bank and make all their contracts nice, as you showed us in example number 1. Yeah, I teach them. Now I'm teaching them how to do it. So for right now, we did 1, and now they have done 14. I don't want them to feel that they need me to do all the contracts, because that's not sustainable, and it's not something that I like to do it. But imagine me just designing contracts and contracts and contracts. That will be a little bit boring. So I just like the challenge to try something different. Legal design is not just about contracts. Legal design could be redesign the office of a lawyer. That could be legal design, legal service design, because the office is a touch point. So I just teach them how to do it. And when the project is too complex, they call me back and just get in. Right now they have 14 redesigned, and they did something amazing, because we designed something in Colombia and they scale it to Panama, because they have the company in Panama. And now they have like 3 projects in Panama. And thanks to that, now I'm working with other companies from the finance sector, thanks to this project. So if you think that way, if you just not think of mine, if you think teaching and this guy is going to help you to go further, like I'm doing right now with you, I think. Okay. Thank you so much for such an amazing conversation. It was super inspiring. My boyfriend is a lawyer and I am service designer, so I am excited to learn more from him. Amazing, thank you. I think you can do amazing things. What the most interesting project you have worked on, in your opinion? The most interesting project, I think the first project that I worked in was a project in the health system with patients with an immunological condition. They needed a medication every 2 weeks, and they needed nurses to come to their houses every 2 weeks to apply them the meds, right? And that wasn't sustainable for the company that I was working with, for a pharmaceutical company. So they looked for me and they said, can you help me to redesign the service? So what we did was we teach those nurses to change their role. They weren't more nurses, they became teachers. And they had to teach their patients to apply it was I don't know
The
how to say
medicine.
the medicine, yeah, but it wasn't a pill, it was the injection, sorry. So they were at first super afraid of it, you know, to do it, but we designed the complete experience. We teach them how to teach. So the nurse had to define their role. Actually, we redesigned their clothing, everything. We designed their pitch. Thanks to that, the adherence to the product came up to 16%. It was amazing. And they just replicate that process to all them world. That was my best project ever. I loved it. How do you get buy-in from stakeholders? I was once helping a colleague redesign insurance documents, and the stakeholders from the insurance company were not helpful and not willing to correct mistakes in their legal contract. Was written. I think the problem here was a cultural problem, and maybe service design, innovation, design thinking is a lot about politics. And I don't know if your colleague was the right person to begin a project about this. So you have to read the room when you are doing a project, not just a legal design project, like any kind of projects. You have to understand if he is the right person to move the strengths of the company, because sometimes the will is good, you know, like they really have this desire to change something, but they don't have like the connections of the power to do it. So sometimes it's better to wait to prepare the field and then to begin the project. It happened to me with a project. Imagine I just sell the project on October. I was going to begin the project on November. They called me and said, and I hired people to the project. I remember I already signed the document, the contract, and they called me, Angélica, we cannot begin the project. And I was, why? Because the person who said yes left the company, and the new guy that is in the job of this person is not going to be a good ambassador of the project. So we need to convince him, and we know that if we begin the project with him right now, this is not going to be an applicable project. So we need to wait 6 months to do this. So I could be the lawyer who says, no, I have a contract and you told me, and this is the signature, and let's do it. But I was smarter than that, and I said, let's wait. And I waited 6 months. The project is implemented. So sometimes it's more about politics. And this case was politics. So check that, because maybe it's politics.
Super. Guys, do we have more questions? Okay. Angélica, I just want to say that you are amazing. And your parents should be really proud of you. And I'm so happy that you decided to join us and to present it here. I see the question. So maybe we answer one more.
Okay. What are you exploring in speculative design or design for futures? My center of everything is service design. So I want to redesign services for the future. So how could be the future of a hospital? How could be the future of a restaurant, especially with this virus? So how we can reorganize the touch points to make it useful for the new situation, and using trends and all this kind of stuff. So we are designing a product to do that. So that's it. That's what we're doing right now.
Super.
Okay. So no, thank you for having me. Sorry, I talked too fast. Maybe. Hope not.
Not really.
Okay. And it was super excited to me to be here. Hope you like the cases. Hope you like what we are doing. Hope you like the Latin season. In my perspective, when you are studying design, the most common thing is to read the books in English, or that has been translated to English because they come from Denmark or Finland or Italy, because that's like the source of design, you know? But in this case, I feel that I'm sharing with you some content that we have created in Colombia.
That's great. That's amazing. Again, thank you very much. That was great. For everybody to know, Angélica will share the slides, and we did a recording today. We will publish it, and I'm pretty sure some of you would like to review the cases once again. Thank you, and we will continue the service design marathon tomorrow. We will be talking about how to design the service, which has a very broad target audience. So what do you do when you need to serve everyone instead of some specific persona or segment? So it's going to be another interesting case now from Europe, from Estonia. Angélica, once again, thank you very much. That was really amazing. Thank you.
No, thank you. And I hope to see you all around. Please follow us in our social media. This is my mom. Thank her. and this is Háptica. So please, everybody, follow us in Instagram and everything, and hope to see you around. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Super.